if we set aside the perhaps ideologically informed context that the APA is coming out of, um, how might you advise us as a society to deal with the challenge of, let's say, men who do themselves conflate traditional ways of being with misogyny?
Yeah.
In some ways, you could argue that the failure of the APA lies in its failure to distinguish and to discern and to tease that out.
Yeah.
But there is the case that some men do conflate these two things. And so how do you address that in the field of psychology and perhaps even more broadly speaking?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a great question. So, I mean, I think, it is this kind of like conceptual confusion that happened. Like I said, like, in that one statement where they refer to traditional and sexist, sort of like attitudes. Well, I don't know that if you are looking at sexist attitudes, that adding traditional attitudes into that adds any more to the pie. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know that it's like, thinking in terms of like predictive value. If you are like assessing for like, I think women are liars. I think women, should just give me sex when I want it or whatever. Those are traditionally sexist attitudes, versus, women are better at child rearing than men, which would be more of a traditional, worldview. Or I should be strong if, my family is going through tough times, which would be more traditional. Do those questions add more predictive value to who's going to rape a woman, than the first two questions? I don't know that is. Well, I mean, I do know they don't. They don't add any real value to it, and I think it. Again, it confuses people because it sort of equates this. There's this idea that traditional men, that being traditional is inherently more sexist than saying being progressive, right? But we know of examples of at least ostensibly, progressive men who have done horrible things to women. I mean, we need to look no further than the Me Too movement, which had very little impact in traditional circles, but was all about mostly progressive